Hi, and welcome to this week's Tuesday 2 by 2. I'm Karen Walker. I'm a consultant, author, speaker, and each week I record a short video that looks at two opposing concepts that, when laid out on a matrix, give us four quadrants we can easily talk about. Often, but not always, you want to be in the upper right-hand quadrant, which is what Gardner Research calls the magic quadrant. So this week, we'll look at this assumptions on one axis and accountability on the other. And so if I think about assumption, I'm really thinking about assumption of intent. And so the scale here will go from cynicism to assuming good intent. And on the other axis, we'll look at accountability. Are there good accountability practices in place or not? So we start in the bottom left-hand quadrant. That's what I call the abyss, right? So this is a place where there's no accountability and there's a lot of cynicism. And if you've ever worked in an organization or a team like this, I think abyss is being kind. It is just not a place where you'd want to spend much time. In the upper left-hand quadrant, that's the one and done space. So this is a space where there might be some cynicism that creeps in, but there is good accountability in place. And so the team and or the leader would root out the cynicism. And so that would be sort of a one event and then over with and back to hopefully an assumption of good intent. In the bottom right-hand quadrant, we have an area I call pay attention. So this is an area where you have a lot of good intent in terms of thinking what's going on with the organization, but not much in the way of accountability. And so if you're not paying attention, it's the place where once cynicism sort of takes root in the organization, it can grow. And if that happens, then you find yourself pretty easily over in the abyss area. So you want to really pay attention to see that it doesn't get a foothold. Now the upper right-hand quadrant, the magic quadrant, right? This is a really powerful foundation for your team or your organization. It's an area where you have strong accountability and you have assumption of good intent. And by that, I mean when someone has an action that you don't understand why they did it, your first assumption is, oh, they had a good intention behind it, rather than, they were really out to get me, or they don't know what they're doing, or things that can be very cynical in nature. So move your organization to this place with a strong foundation by putting practices in place that really shore up good intention and weed out cynicism with, as always, a wrapping of accountability. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope that you found this helpful. If you want more about me, you can find me on any social media platform at Karen Walker US, or certainly find more on my website, which is simply karenwalker.us. Take good care and see you next week.